Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Advancement Center, and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. On this special day, we delve into new areas that we've never thought about before. As we connect with one another, with the new world, and with many unknowns that we can feel in our field and in distance. As we do this, we develop something new, a new stability, where we connect to something that we always thought was unstable. Randomness, unknown, fleeting, and above all, exciting. But as we connect into this new conglomerate of fields and experiences, we start to feel ourselves much more stable than we expected. We expect to be able to hold on to something that is steady, to keep ourselves upright, to keep ourselves in order and in line with whatever we want to be in line with. But in fact, we're finding the less we hold on to, the more we're connected into a stable field that is moving and swerving and tipping upside down and creating a new feeling of solidarity within our being. We've actually left our old environment. We've stepped into a new environment that felt a little destabilizing, felt a little like you were off balance, like you didn't have a full grip on things, like you were forgetting, like you wondered where you were and where you are now. But in fact, there's a feeling of safety and security that has no reason, that has no stable point to lock onto, and no fixed idea to churn through. So as that grows, we find that we have much more capability in all sorts of areas that we don't need to demonstrate, but that somehow we have a sense of its reality. And in that sense, there's a feeling of security that we generate for ourselves, not by holding on to a set of circumstances or by holding on to anything. We feel like we're supported even though we're suspended in midair. And we're totally stable and upright in a sense that doesn't form a solid picture in your mind, but it forms a solid picture in your being, such that you can step forward and experience the new world that you've stepped into. And you can step forward further and further and not worry about whether you've got a handrail to hold on to or a door to go back through. And the further you step, the greater the world presents itself. In fact, you can see more of the world than you ever have. Not just the new, but the old as well. And you don't have to compare anything, whether the new is good or the old is good. You simply keep moving. And it keeps creating itself in a new way every moment. So now that we're actually in a stable state, in what we used to think was an unstable circumstance, we can feel the joy of being able to do the impossible and laugh about it. If you decide you want to look through the wall, you can. And what you see is up to you. If you want to be able to see around corners, you can. Once again, what you see is up to you. It doesn't need confirmation, because what you can see from where you are is unique. What you can see, if you move towards the corner and look around, is also unique. They're all real visions, they're all realities. And it shows very easily when you start playing with a camera or a program that shows you where the stars are. You point it at a star and it shows you the picture of everything around it. But it doesn't care that the house is in the road. It just gives you what the intention is. And you can do the exact same thing, because within you is all data. You don't have to access it from anywhere. And it's not locked inside you. It's stored everywhere, because you are everywhere. And you can play whatever games you want without affecting anybody in a negative form. You can play whatever game you want to give you a response that feels good to you. And if it feels good to you, actually feels not an idea, but a real feeling that feels good to you, it's enhancing everyone else. The simple feeling of the beautiful energies of the world of your Creator is a reality. And it's a reality that you don't have to convince yourself about. It's one that you're living. So as you step further into the world of your Creator, you're actually doing it. And in that world, everything is okay. Everything is real. Even if, to your standard in daily life, it's crazy. But you look at the number of people who can change focus in an instant when you say, well, think about your origin. Be on a plane, be on a train, look down on the Alps, look down on the stars, be in your friend's place, be on that spaceship that you always love. Feel the movement of the high speed as you enter the various parts of space and you jockey around in your spacemobile. And you go on missions to other planets, to other realms, at speeds that we cannot register. And you look at the people's eyes and they're alight because they feel it, they know it. And the more we speak about all these experiences, the more they become part of our life. So don't be surprised if we start to speak about moving through space, moving through dimensions, creating dimensions, moving things physically, changing the life around us without affecting anything, having outcomes that don't follow logic. The more we speak about it, the more it happens. Because of nothing. It's simply a way of following that random focal plane that spreads through our particular life in whatever way we desire to follow it. A fleeting thought can change your whole direction. Like a joke. Someone says, remember the joke about the donkey? And everyone who's heard the joke says, oh yes, and they have the full story immediately. And the direction of conversation changes because of one reference. That's because the world is actually different in that moment. And the only way that can happen is if you live in the world of your Creator. That world that you cannot put your finger on. That world that's exotic beyond all measure. And the feeling of your own essence becomes your greatest friend. The voice that speaks to you changes its tone. It becomes happy. It doesn't delve into things that are not interesting to you. It doesn't delve into worldly events. It flips across the sky, brings you new and random aspects of everything. Nothing is old. It's all new. But somehow you light up because of its familiarity. So now we're starting to step into what is real in what we used to call the outer world. And we'll start to open up that outer world to the extent where you'll feel it's part of you and therefore not the outer world anymore. Your experience of standing in total silence with no reference to the ground, but being able to see everything and not having any questions will become part of your normal life. And that rare time where you find yourself standing in a room and saying to yourself, I'm not sure what I came in here for or what I'm supposed to do, that will become the norm, because there's no reason to have to remember anything. As you go with the flow, everything moves correctly. It's like swimming. As you get into the flow, you move, and you move in the water. And you generate a whole new movement without really having to have a pattern. But the flow will direct you. You can train to swim in a certain manner, but until you're in that groove, you never excel and you work hard. So now, even in your home life, you'll get into that flow. There is not a pattern. It's a flow that's random, that needs no thought, that looks after your health, your well-being, your safety, without you having to think about it. You'll move with ease, and you'll watch as discomfort disappears because you don't understand it. If you don't understand there's anything wrong with you, there won't be. We still have that childlike manner that can change our whole situation. Like a mother offering to kiss something better for the child, and they respond immediately, and it's gone. And even if a child damages its skin, falling over or whatever, there is a time when if you put your hand on it and the child agrees that's better, when you take your hand away, there will not even be a scratch, because that's the capability that's within this physical body. The damage disappears if you don't understand it. When we step into the world of our Creator, there is no method. There is a flow for a fraction of a moment. That flow changes after that fraction of a moment. It's still a flow, but it's in a different direction. It seems like it's not harmonious, from our reasoning, but in fact, it generates the exact movement to produce the electricity that we need to fire up all the power that we deliver into the world of our Creator. And that random movement you can generate immediately just by allowing yourself to move the slightest amount and feel your energy go past it and change direction and come back again, generate more. And after a while, you don't have to even register, because you'll be delivering more than you ever could understand. And at the same time, replenishing your whole being every second. I often speak about the TV screen updating. If you slow it down, you can see it scroll from the bottom or the top, and the next lot of frames come into picture. That's screen update. Our physical body is capable of doing that in a split second, to go from total exhaustion to total perfection and replenish your whole body. And for those that I've demonstrated it with, they almost pass out, because our program says that's impossible. But with a slight input from somebody else, you can totally update quicker than you can breathe. And all of a sudden, you're bright, you're alive. And if you've been running, you don't even breathe hard. You completely recover and get on and do the same thing again if you need to. So those capabilities will just drift into your life without any method, without any encouragement. They'll just drift in. You'll experience them and you'll smile. For a while, you'll try to remember how you did that so that you can repeat it. But after a while, I can assure you, you don't have to. You just know that it's all available, and there's more than you can possibly remember. So you just forget the lot, enjoy the ride, and watch as all these amazing things happen to you in fractions of a second. And when you've got a moment to do nothing, you can just move your body slightly, let your energy flop around, and it will lock in and start to generate enormous amounts of power, enormous everything. And the generation of new fields will bring into reality the endless life that you can lead. and how well you handle eternity. And in the middle of all that, you will see some of the characters that you've been in the past, and some that you'll be in the future, and some that you are already, that are not necessarily living here in this moment in your body. But don't discard the fact that you have many characters that you envelop in your everyday life. And those characters flip forward based on various switches that you've set up. And we give things names like anger, excitement, reaction, but in fact, they're different beings that you've enveloped and given to bring forward once the switch is switched. So as you watch all these things, you'll see them bounce forward, and you'll laugh after a while because you couldn't see it. You couldn't see that your reaction to something actually brought another person forward. And that person has its own character. Nothing to be afraid of. Just let them keep flipping around as they need to, and watch how in the world of your creator they all fit. There's not reason for anything, but everything fits. We often stray into areas in our mind that disturb our everyday life. There's no need to do anything about that except smile and realize that the only tool you need in life is that magic that produces miracles. You don't even need a wrench to do up a nut or a bolt. It will happen. Or someone will turn up and do it just in front of you before you get to do it. This is the magic that we live with, that distributes itself throughout our creation and enhances everybody to help one another, even though they don't know they're doing it. In every form, we are beyond what we can see in front of us now. Even when we look in the mirror, we're beyond what we can see in that mirror. And if we look past the image in the mirror, you'll see somebody looking back, and you'll smile and say hello. And that's all that's needed every now and then. And all life's difficulties just melt away into a world where it's not necessary to do anything about it. So as we step through this day, the beauty of our own being is emphasized through the connection that we've made into the world of our Creator, into the world beyond worlds, into our origin, and all the various worlds that we have invoked or lived in. And as those connections grow, more arrive. And the simplicity of the magic starts to produce a life force that holds you stable and makes you move forward without reference to where you've been. So as we sail along through this life, we're sailing along through many lives. And it's time we enjoyed the high-tech side of our being, the one that exists everywhere, the one that travels through space, the one that's bigger than all worlds, and the one that's smaller than anything you can imagine, all at the one time. And there's no thought of anything that can get between you and your world, and your worlds that you've experienced. Every time something attempts to get into that area, it makes itself disappear because it has nothing to hang on to. Yet we are connected to so much that keeps us stable in that world of random movement that enlivens our spirit. That we cannot get ourselves into trouble. We don't know how to. And our level of understanding, even though it's increasing in the world of where everything is unknown, it is decreasing in the world of logic and training. And many of the aspects of our life that have been pre-planned since we were a child just no longer exist. But the presence of everything that you can do comes to life each time you make that conscious connection into the world of your Creator, where we all have no qualms about connecting to one another and understanding that we generate more for one another than we possibly could in a lifetime, just by making one conscious connection. So with all that, we have nothing to store. we have nothing to put away or to learn. We only have every moment to enjoy, to experience, to explore, and everything that is impossible to make possible. For now, that's all we have to do. And that's a funny thing to say when you don't have to do anything. So let me wish you all a perfect life, perfect health, and a really magic future. Thank you.